Okay, not a lot of people voted, but we did our first community tab poll on our YouTube channel, and the majority of people that did cast a vote indicated that they wanted us to put together a video on how to build a great fire in the fireplace. It is fall. I like having a fire in the fireplace as often as I can. So we're going to walk you through how to build a fire. Hopefully we'll share some tips that will help you make a great fire in your fireplace as well. And we'd love for you to let us know if you try it, how it goes. Put something in the comments. Let us know how it goes. So I always save ashes from previous fires in this big metal bucket. So if something were to ever happen and we had to leave the house in a hurry, and there was a fire going, we could put the ashes on the fire to make it go out. So the ashes will choke out fire by absorbing oxygen. Of course, you want to always make sure that the flue is open. Obviously, I can't see. And there's always a little handle toward the side near the front of the fireplace. A little lever. Yeah, so that's open up there. And again, that's for letting the air circulate properly so that you can get a fire started and keep a fire started. And now the bigger trick is placement of your firewood. So I use a flat piece of firewood. We buy the bundles just at Kroger or someplace like that, and I always use a flat piece of firewood in the center and then kind of a tall log that's higher than that little flat piece, and then I have another log, so I have a little channel down inside there. Let's turn this way. I have a little channel right down inside there, and in that little channel I am going to use, okay, so I just buy these little inexpensive fire starters at the grocery store. They're like $1.99 for this little package. It's 4 fire starters, but I only use one. Good gravy. I only use one of these little skinny things. So I break these apart right here at this separation, and then I split that in half. So I've got like a half right here. That just makes them go a whole lot farther. And unless the wood is really green, or you know, there's just some other kind of problem with your fire, this is usually all it takes for me. That's going to sit down in that little channel. Okay, and I'm using, again, one small log from a tree in the back pasture. Richard cuts firewood every year for us. And then that flat log. So this flat log in the middle and this back log that's a little higher to make the channel are both just that inexpensive, well, right now it's still inexpensive, firewood from the grocery store. The little bundles of firewood you can get for, right now they're $3.99. I think the highest I've ever seen them is maybe $6 or $7 a bundle. But they're usually nice and dry, again, unless they've been sitting in the rain or something. And so they'll catch real easily, and that'll help them get your fire going. So I've got another little assortment of logs here. So let's see if we can get this little fire starter lit. Give me just a second. Alright, so my little fire starter just got a couple of little flames going down here at each end. And I'm going to now place, for my first fire of the season, I'm going to use one more of these just because I want the firewood that we've cut out on the back porch to get nice and dry. I'm gonna lay it at kind of an angle so it's not exactly parallel with that channel. And we're gonna let that catch. All right, so there's lots of gaps, lots of openings for air to circulate around this firewood. That's really the biggest tip I can give you, is that you can't have everything compacted and tightly stacked so that there's not a lot of air circulating. And then the goal is going to be for that one little fire starter to provide enough ignition, so to speak, to get everything nice and hot and get that top log started. And then throughout the course of the evening or whenever we're burning the fire, we'll just add little pieces of wood as things get nice and hot. So I'll have an update here in just a bit after this has been going a little while. See, that smoke is being drawn up through the flue because there's just an automatic draw from the air inside the house being pulled upward, and hot air rises, so it's carried up through the chimney. I'll be back in just a bit. Okay, I'll check the timestamps for the videos. I don't even think it's been 5 minutes. I went to put some dishes away out of the sink, out of the drain rack. And that's the fire going. So again, we're gonna let that top log burn and the logs on the side get hot and begin to burn, so that as we replace that top log with these other logs, you know, as that top log gets burned away, we just put fresh logs on it. I mean, that's how you keep fire going. And just that one little fire starter with ample circulation of air around the logs gets you a nice fire going. And then as long as you tend to it, you can keep it like this with nice flames. This fireplace is a great fireplace because after a couple of hours of having a nice fire going, it's nice and warm here in the living room. And then it's got these little built-in vents to help warm the room. I love that crackling sound. This definitely now feels like fall to me, and it is chilly outside. I walked out to take the dogs out for a break. It's misting a little bit. That makes it seem even cooler than it probably is, but I'm in a sweater and socks, and it's plenty cool today. So I will update again once that top log has been consumed enough to start adding my replacement logs to it. And then we've got lots of firewood out here on the back porch to keep it going. Alright, so we're going to add some logs to this fire. If you don't have a bellows, get you a bellows. back to tend to it again in a little bit. So I'll check the timestamp again. There's that other little log we put on. I just gave it the little burst of air with the bellows. And it's going nicely now. To me, that's a perfect fire right there. So you have flames, but it's not out of control. It's starting to feel warm right in here, so it's a perfect little fire. We're gonna add this other little log to the fire. Just made Mary and Serena get up. They love to lay here by the fireplace. All right, so see, we've got a lot of breakdown of the wood so far. So I'm gonna go out and get a couple more logs. We can get one more log kind of toward the back there. So I'm gonna put a couple of smaller diameter logs in here, just to make sure it can fuel itself nicely. And then next up will be this bigger log. No need to use the bellows again. We've got good heat. Nice wood.